Hey guys, how you doing today? Just on my way home from a friend's place. Walking through some parks, so hey, what the heck? Thought I'd do a recording. Bit windy today. I don't know how the wind really affects the recording. I know some people have commented that they can hear the wind in the background, but it hasn't necessarily been a negative thing. If you guys could do me a big favor and just let me know in the comment section if the wind affects this, if it's negative, if it sucks, it makes you not want to listen to it. I really would like to know that, and that would be really great information for me to have for future recordings. Outside of that, I'm just walking home and I'm thinking, for whatever reason right now I'm thinking about China. I'm thinking a lot about China and how unfortunate it is that our media is completely untrustworthy, right? And how unfortunate it is that our media just simply can't be trusted with even the most basic information about what's going on in other countries, right? Like, I feel like our media lost credibility about talking about foreign issues when it refused to actually address the issue of Venezuela with even the most modest of approaches, right? Even the most modest of, it didn't attempt at all to show the complexity of Venezuela, the difficulties that Venezuela was being faced with from external sources, the United States, Britain, France, taking advantage of them. Our media refused to acknowledge that there was any kind of external invasion or force whatsoever, and insisted that, and it almost completely universally insisted that I'm just walking by a group of people here, a little party, yeah, having a good time, man, down here on the beach. That's what we should all be doing, having a good time, having a good day. God bless them. God bless them. I hope each and every one of them gets laid tonight. So with the complete and total mishandling of even the most basic facts or evidence surrounding Venezuela, it makes it completely impossible for me to take what our media says seriously about any foreign country, right? Any information that comes in through the National Post, through the Globe and Mail, through especially the editorials, are totally suspect. And I'm forced into a position where I have to look at these articles that come out and are spread into the public space, and I'm forced to begin to look at them with the highest level of skepticism. I'm forced to say, I don't believe you, right? And so when it comes to the issue of China, there are several things that I think are concerning and worth looking into, but I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know how to start with the Uyghur stuff, right? You have people claiming that the Uyghurs have been incarcerated in concentration camps, that it's as bad as fascist Nazi Germany, and I don't believe them, right? And I've seen, not from credible sources, definitely, but I've seen counter narratives to this online and people who have been talking about it. But then simultaneously, there are people who I respect, like Chris Hedges, who says in interviews, sort of off cuff, that the Uyghurs are basically slaves in China. And so I don't know what to think. I don't know where to go. I don't know who to listen to on this particular issue. And so I can't do anything about it, right? And it's especially confusing and complicated when you have the most anti-Chinese rhetoric comes out of the right wing, right? It's the Conservative Party and the conservative news media, that conservative-owned, certainly, news media, that really paints this anti-Chinese narrative. But the second there's oil to be sold, the second there's coal to be sold, right? Suddenly China is our best buddy. Suddenly we're saying, oh no, it's actually best. Like if we sell our natural gas to China, it's actually better for the environment and it's better for our economy. So it's a real win-win, right? This is the narrative that gets spun in regards to this issue, ignoring the fact completely that what's to stop China from just burning both, right? What's to stop China from burning natural gas and coal, right? Like what's to stop them? Nothing, right? So when it comes to the issue of resource extraction and selling oil and coal, we're supposed to trust the goodwill of China, right? But on other issues, Chinese are horrible slavers who we shouldn't trust ever, right? And so it's very confusing. I feel like I'm feeling like there's a lot of different narratives that are confusing, and I don't know who to trust. And so on the issue of China, I am kind of forced into this position where I have to think, well, you know, for sure China is probably doing bad things because they're humans like we're humans, right? For sure that's the case. But is what they're doing as bad or even come close to as bad as the stuff that we're doing, that the Americans are doing, right? Are the Chinese Saudi arms dealers? Are the Chinese involved in a persistent and consistent world war against the Middle East? Am I supposed to actually accept that, like, just because they're Chinese, I'm supposed to be mistrustful of them? You know, this sort of underhanded racist narrative that says, oh, they're foreigners, they're China, right? And then people like Derek Sloan come to the surface and basically accuse our Minister of Health, who I believe is of Chinese descent. I don't know if she is or is not in truth, but I know she is of Asian descent. And he basically says that because of this and this reason alone, that she's an ally to China. And that kind of open-throated racism doesn't make me want to support this anti-Chinese narrative. There's a real sort of live and let live, I feel, attitude when it comes to other nations. And like, for goodness sakes, for the last 30 to 40 years, China has been a tight and strong ally of the United States. It's making all the states the stuff, right? It's only now that the jig is up, right? Like, the Chinese strategy was very clear, right? Make the United States' stuff for it, and in exchange, we'll actually modernize our civilization, right? In a very short period of time, the Communist Party of China built megacities. They literally took places that were built out of, like, paper and sticks, and they've built super cities. They've even built cities that are currently mainly empty in preparation for further population growth, right? So they're planning ahead because they actually have a centralized planned economy. They actually have people whose job it is to look at the problems that societies are faced with and to actually make decisions for the benefit of the populace, for the benefit of the people. And that's obvious to see all throughout China, right? Like, and meanwhile, as capitalism has dug its heels in to North America, it's really shown itself to be the antithesis of the benefit of the populace, right? Capitalism really is not able to respond to crises. It's not able to actually move with agility the way that proponents of capitalists claim that they can, right? And this is like true throughout the world. Societies that had strong government-run medical facilities and medical systems, like the National Health Service in Britain or the Universal Healthcare System here in Canada, have been able to respond to the COVID-19 crisis with a great deal of agility. Whereas in the States, it's obvious. It's just a total cluster. It's a total cluster. And it really is to the detriment of the society that we live in this place where you can't trust what anybody says, right? You literally cannot trust what anybody says. That when people like Kelly McParland or John Ivison or Rex Murphy publish an editorial in the National Post, they're just stooges, right? They're just complete, total, complicit stooges to a system of death that's designed to destroy us. And yet, for some reason, a large enough segment of the populace is just gullibly slurping up their garbage, even though it's consistently rebutted and consistently disproven and consistently shown as the total nonsense that it is. But then, it's so deeply unfortunate that when it comes to like very important issues, like our foreign relation to the next great superpower, right? Let's be straight. China's the next great superpower. They won this game, right? Their plan was pretty straightforward. We're going to make all of the United States' stuff for them. We're going to buy a whole bunch of U.S. treasuries, get really cozy with the U.S. economy, which the capitalists were fine with, because the capitalists fundamentally don't understand what government is, whereas the Chinese seem to understand what the government is. And so, as the Chinese move forward, they're just going to continue producing stuff, they're going to continue making stuff, they're going to continue doing things to benefit their populace. Whereas the States is just going to collapse into internal civil war, because all of the wealth that was generated from this alliance between the Chinese and the Americans stayed in the hands of a very small group of oligarchs. And the Chinese, I mean, they don't care, right? They don't care if America is run by oligarchs, right? Good luck. That's probably their attitude. Yeah, okay, good luck. We'll take a look at some of the things that we consider successful and we'll use them for ourselves, which they have done. Which shows you, right? Here's the craziest thing, in my view. There are definitely things that we could learn from the Chinese government, right? It is important to have a centralized, controlled economy. It absolutely is important to have people whose job it is to actually make sure that the needs of the populace are taken care of through a centralized economy. That's just the truth. And where the Chinese have found that they could learn something from capitalism or learn something from the American system, they have taken it and integrated it. Enough so that the capitalist class attempts to claim that by itself as a major success for capitalism, instead of considering it a major success for communists, right? If a communist system, which that's what China is, it's certainly aiming towards communism, it's certainly using socialist policies, it's certainly doing all of this to build its society and become the next great superpower on this planet. If these guys are willing to, if socialists and communists are willing to look at capitalists and seed ground and say, oh yeah, this type of thinking or this type of action actually works better and actually grows our economy better. Maybe we could even use it as temporary kind of things, or use it this way or that way, right? So the communists and the socialists are willing to do that. The capitalists are not. The capitalists, if you even suggest even the most, take a look at America, you suggest the most banal change to your society, right? Universal healthcare at this point, it has been absolutely proven without the shadow of a doubt that government-run centralized healthcare systems are superior to private models. That's just true at this point. To attempt to make the claim otherwise, you're ruddering up against all the evidence we have. You're ruddering up against all the facts. You're essentially on the same intellectual plane as a flat earther, if that's what you're saying. But the capitalists can't learn, because if they start to learn and if they start to integrate ideas that run counter to this sort of death cult narrative they have, then capitalism will cease to be, and their power and prestige will be diminished, as it should be. Absolutely. Oh geez, I'm out of time. Well guys, like, share, subscribe, all the normal stuff. I hope you're having fun out there. I hope you're getting laid. Hope you're having a good drink. Hope you're having a good smoke. Hope you're having a good time, having some laughs. Do your best. I love you all. Good luck.